minus A, you see that I'm on the Solaris machine 5.11. And here, that's the website or server. It's called HTTP Apache. Apache 2.2 is running. So I'm going to demo some of the examples here for Apache 2.2. Let's see. So in this case was CGI bin loop. Okay, so the script that I'm showing you here, let me set my terminal. You see that PS1 is pointing to a big long this. It shows the name of the host and the path and everything. That's too much here for teaching. I'm going to change that one to PS1 is equal just a $sign and then a space. Okay, so sorry. Right here, I'm still sitting on that machine and I'm still seeing that directory there, but it's much easier now to just say, show me all the C shell script, all the files with other ones. So let me just give you for the first script that I was showing you there for each.c shell. And this is a script which I wrote a long time ago, and it's still good. It just basically uses C shell in this case instead of bash. And then there's other bash script. I'm going to show you those examples as well. And on this script, I'm just basically printing a list of all the sports here. And then you use a for each. This for each syntax is similar to Perl or Python and other programming languages that they use the word for each. Perl is very specific, similar to this works like this. So for each, and then a sports, and then you use an array of list. In this case, the array contains soccer, football, swimming, running, basketball, handball, tennis, volleyball. And then it has to print those ones. Then the syntax of C language, if you use a for each, you don't have a do and done. You don't have a begin and end, but you have an end statement. And then you just finish it. Then this other one, print a list of characters. Notice that the CH, in this case, it could be A through D, let's say, through E, or A, B through E, lowercase or uppercase first one, and lowercase second one, and then numbers third one. So it's going to print out those numbers or characters based on what I want to print. And then in this case, I'm combination printing using for each statement, using string and then floating point numbers. So if I just do for each dot C shell, since I'm defining it on my for each statement dot C shell, on the first line, if I say head 1, it minus 1, then it's going to say it's a C shell. Since I did a C shell, I could do a dot for each dot C shell. It will still execute it. And notice that it does for floating point number. So the next example on the C shell is a F statement, F.C shell. This one, I'm doing a comparison at some point. If a sport is soccer, then I love playing sports, $sign sport, then playing soccer will be printed. Notice the F statement, instead of the bash having a bracket or double quote and double parentheses, in this case, this is much like C language. That's why the programming, the shell script is called C shell, which is similar to C, but unfortunately they don't use braces and they don't close the braces. They use the syntax of then and def. So it is more kind of combined of bash and the C shell and its own way of the person that who wrote it. And then it uses AND for that for statement, the for each. Actually, this for each is already there. Where's that AND? That might be a typo there. Let me see if Y has there. Yeah, for character and this. Yeah, actually, yeah, this one has a end here. Maybe it is coming from one of the, let me say, VIF.C shell. So for each, and then there's end already here. Okay, maybe that end was like ending before it prints it. And $ sport. Yeah, this terminated before that one. It should have been here. Let me see. And if, yeah, this is okay. So that one of them is terminated before that. And if, and then and. Quit. Let's see, F.C shell. It does run, but notice that they give you an end here. For each. Oh no, and that was output of this. This is my syntax. Yeah, this end not found. You see that? So we did see that as a typo. Vi f.c shell, and this one is okay. This one is extra. We could just comment this one out, and then that way the F statement should work. Because if that is the case, then this one is done. Let me see what's going on here. Oh, so now the file is read-only because I have to log in as root because I made the permissions of them differently. F.C shell, so nobody could modify it. So let me just do that. Sudo sudash. Okay, now my PWD is different. So I'm gonna go back to var Apache 2.2 CGI bin and loop, and then vi f.c shell, and then end. Just put an end there. The next one was okay. F.c shell. Soccer event not found. This was the reason that I put that end. It understood that one. So vi f.c shell. This one is okay. This one is commented out. Now f.c shell. It runs, did it say soccer? Let me see if it does grep -i soccer. You have a new soccer. Okay, so I'm gonna do f.c shell and move this line behind this line because the f statement has to be part of this function to say that sport is soccer, then it does it. Event not found. It is complaining with that column. Vi soccer code. So And the reason is this one is not having two columns. And that is when you're doing condition checking, the syntax is two of them, like I did here. This is one to do that or that, but this is Boolean matching. Let's see. Yeah, it worked here too. So if it is equal that, and then the first one is fruit. If a sport is equal that. I'm gonna run it like this. It might fail. No, actually it didn't. That was the problem. So in this case, if you just do it like that, it's gonna work. And the syntax was that, let me try this f.c shell. And that's whether the two bracket fixed it or the bang. The bang sometimes, and it might just say this bang pound is not understood, as it looks like as if it is an event. Yeah, that was the bang. So I could have just get rid of that bang and C shell. If you're following after with a code, it is a problem. So I'm gonna do that, and I should escape it. It should not, yeah, it should not be there. So the fact that whether I use double quote or single quote, double quote if it was more than one condition. That means like this, I use more Boolean conditions. If this condition is true, or that one is, this is or that condition is true, or this other condition is true, any of those conditions. So I used a Boolean operator to say this one would be returning, let's say 1, or this one 1, or this one. Whichever one return 1, this statement will be true. And then because it's an or statement. So the fact that I did the first line and put that escape in front of the bang, it works. That's why it's gonna come. And then if I look at the I love soccer grip minus I love soccer, it's there. I love playing soccer. And then the bang symbol is there. So that was the reason for the event. F.C shell. Now I don't need this pound in front of this at all. Okay, and then let's go through a few more examples of F statement. So this one is a F arguments $h. It's on bash, I believe. F-args $h. This one is says get the value 1 and 2. If the two arguments are given, then just run the output, and otherwise, if there's not given, don't do the usage. If the argument is not passed properly, give him a usage. If it is passed properly with two arguments, then do the comparison of those two values, value and 1, or whether the values are the same or value equal. In this example, I want you to pay attention to this regular expression, a variable that I created. I wanted to just look to make sure that only a number could be entered as an argument. If somebody writes for $1 string, then I'm gonna just say I'm not gonna run it. Right here is that validation is gonna be checking for the condition. So this else part, it says if else, if not, this bang means not, this condition, or if not this condition, meaning that if $1 is matching this equal sign tilde means if this variable is matching that variable. If this is the same, and then this not is negating it, like De Morgan's law, is negation of that. If this is not the case, or that's not the case, if it's not a number, then either the $1 is not a number, or $2 is not a number, then give it, say, this program only requires argument. So the name of the script was fargs. So if I just give it by itself, and then says, okay, this is the syntax, how you should run this script. It says a script name and then number. So if I just give it one argument, like 10, it's going to complain, say, I want more than one argument. But if I say 5, it's going to say, okay, 10 is greater than 5. But what if I give 55? Doesn't matter that I have to give those two numbers, right? I could give 100 and it's still, because the argument that I'm passing is I'm passing to $1 and $2. So as many arguments as I do. If I'm putting a third argument here, the system doesn't know about it. All it does is compare the first two arguments. It ignores the rest of them, because I'm not reading the number of arguments that are passed. I'm only interested on 2 arguments. So if I just say 1 and 2 is there, but if I say 1 and 1, then it says equal, and if I say 2 and 1, then 2 is greater than 1. So the first argument is compared against the second argument. If the first argument is equal to, let's say, 5 and 5, it will say, but the first argument is 15, then obviously it says greater. If the second argument is 25, then it says 15 is smaller than. So it is the first argument compared to the second argument. And then as soon as they match it, the same number, then it's gonna not complain and say they're equal. But what if I just gave a different argument on one of them? Remember, I was doing a condition Boolean operator, whether $1 is not an argument or $2. And then it should say this program only requires an argument. Please enter number only. So if I just say only a T or only a A, doesn't matter, or only a Z, whatever I put, it doesn't matter. As long as I gave it one argument to a character, it's gonna say I'm not gonna take it. If I put both of them, obviously it's not gonna take it, because that Boolean or f-args.sh is going to check for either one of them. Either this one is not the case, or that one is not the case. If it is not matching any of those ones, then give that, please enter number only. So how did I know that this was only accepting a regular expression as accepting a number? This is the syntax. So I'm saying that when the user $1 is passed, $1 or $2, I'm gonna compare them, but $1 could be anything, but a regular expression is always the same. I'm just saying that my $0 through 9, meaning any number, and I'm sorry, the encore, which is this symbol, is called encore. The encore, it means start with. And then after the first character could be any digit, 0 through 9, and then this range, which is the bracket, it says meaning that it could be 0, 1, 2, 3 through 9. And then this plus symbols means one or more of that digit. So if it is, I only put a 0 there, like here I only put a 0, 0 and 0, then this one automatically matches, those two numbers are equal, and it's gonna say they are equal. If I just put 100 digit, this plus, meaning that if it was, the first one would be 1 coming out of this. This is for our $argument 2. on $arg1, this would be just the 0, and then this one is no absence of everything else. Then after that one, it says, oh, there's a second digit for $2. Then it's going to just put 0 through 9, whatever number that person passed. And if I just do another 1 and 9 here, it's going to just keep doing it till it sees the end of line, which is after I press enter. Then it's going to say, well, 0 is smaller than, it's going to do the comparison. So this regular expression, if I wanted to match only strings, I could start with this and end with $, and then this symbols means 0 or more characters. And instead of putting 0 through 9, I could put like this: a regular expression is equal, and then start the single quote, and then backtick. In this case, I'm accepting lowercase a through z, as well as uppercase through a through z, as well as 0 through 9. Let's say all numbers, everything. But in the case of a regular expression matching a string or character only, that's how I want to do it. Then I'm putting a plus, meaning more than one character. Character 1, character 2, character 3, as many as it has, understand it, until you see a $. Then you go there. So then if I just say, like for example, let's say if test equal and $, regular expression, and then echo okay, else echo not okay. If I see, it says not okay because that regular expression that I gave, it did not match with those ones, because I said it could be this or uppercase. If I just say my regular expression, let's say to this, and then run the same syntax, it still says not okay. Why is that? Because echo $, regular expression. Okay, it is matching something that is there with those variable, but I did not give any value to it. So that is not exactly the same as interpreting it. So in this case, if I just do change my regular expression here to match the same symbol, which is in the script, it will do the interpretation. Let's say do backtick and then a through z and plus $, then it says not okay. Regular expression and yeah. So on the first case, when you're comparing it, if you're comparing it to a string, you're using the right symbol for comparison, but I was not putting this one within quotes. So it just did not understand that this string was matching that string. Here I was matching it with the double quote. So if I was doing that, maybe I could do this here, and let's see if that is still that's not the same in terms of a string matching. So it's good to put them within the code. Yeah, within the code is better. So if you, because all those ones it says echo okay for each one of them because of that condition. So within the code would definitely give you the right proper way to do it. I'll show you an example of that one, more test.sh. Okay, more. So this one, else if statement, it does a if statement with else and then other condition based on the value that are passed to $1, $2. And this example, I'm also using the numbers. We went through that one, so I'm not going to cover that one already. But basically, if you run it, it requires 2 arguments. And once the arguments are given is, let's say, 99 and 55, it will just say which one is greater and so on. And if they're smaller, it will say 9 is smaller. And what if they are the same? Yeah, equal. So the other script that I'm showing you here, I think it has the string matching. So let me do grep regular expression, start of the search. What other script I'm using regular expression? Okay, so here I'm gonna use that. I'm sorry. I'm gonna do grep. Okay, let me just change my shell first of all. PS1 is equal and $sign. Okay. Grep minus I regular expression is equal, and then start the search. So in this example, I'm using the if statement. So more f dash statement or the search. I'm using the string on this example for regular expression. I want to show you that one. So if the regular expression, this one I'm saying that I'm only accepting strings. So this is the condition where I'm matching it. Remember, on this syntax is the same as I wrote before, but in this example, if I just run this script by itself, and it's going to say this requires 2 arguments. 1 and 2 is still going to say the same thing. 112 is still going to say 1 and test is still going to say the same thing. But now test and Wahid will just compare the two. So if I just, the letter W is matching after before Z, so Z is greater than, or W is smaller. And then the apple and pear, so pear is greater and apple is smaller. And apple should be the same. A and B B is greater and A is smaller. And if it doesn't matter which one I put first, I'd always look at the first one compared to the second one. So B is greater than A. Because in the syntax of it, it's important for you when you look at the logic, don't just change the arguments. If you change the argument, the logic would work differently. Even though syntactically it's still correct, semantically it's not correct. The logic, the meaning of that one, when I say semantically, that whatever is the meaning of that logic that you're putting. So in this case, if I just say if $value 1 is less than value 2, notice that I'm not using the -LT, less than. I'm using the less than symbol with a less than kind of symbol. That one, or this equal sign. Whenever you do comparison of a string, you have to put the variable within the code, and you have to use this kind of symbols. So for less than, you use this symbol. For less or equal, you use this symbol. For greater sign, you use this one. And if you use greater or equal, you do that. Or equal for equal. So those are the comparison operators. And not equal is when the two strings are not equal. That's how you do it. And then equal tilde has a special meaning, meaning that assign this string and compare it at the same time. So you could maybe put the variable in Perl. When I was writing all these man pages on the script, I had to get the parameters from the output of the man pages, and then I had to do a lot of parsing on the string, because a lot of the garbage that was coming from TRF or man or pages, it was just extra invisible character that is only accessible if you go to VI and set it. But when you open it on the display, those ones will be like garbage to the user. So you don't want to just have the user reading all these nonsense, and you have to convert it to other type of strings. Okay, somebody just joined in, Eddie. Okay, let's see. There's more scripts here that I could cover. Sorry. And so for now, I mean, the smaller numbers, f dash is smaller number dot sh. That's what is gonna just compare the two numbers if one is smaller versus the other one. In this case, I'm automatically putting the value to value 1 and 2. This is kind of hard coded. So it only checks for 5 and 10. If you just did that one, if I run it, if smaller number dot sh, it always just says 5 is smaller than number. No matter what I pass in here, it doesn't care. It just says 5 is small because it's hard coded inside here. Hard coding is not a good example of writing scripts, but there are times in life that you have to set some variables to something initially. Like pi does not change. So you set the pi to 3.14 and then you just execute it and so on. There's a lot of functions, okay? There's another thing that we discussed on the documentation. Let me go here. Yeah, you see that one eventually it came out, the script. So I'm just showing you here the actual script here. And then if you run it here, it will just say the same thing. See that? It just print out. So if the internet is accessible, all of these scripts really good at just give you output everything and then produce the output for it, and it gives you the syntax here that you can read it. But at the same time, I provide you already these scripts from the lecture, so you can just look at it. And then when you have internet access to the machine, you can see it on the website as well. So let me discuss one more thing here. Sometimes you're writing a script, inline scripting, right? So let me go back here and go to OpenShell script. We did discuss that already. Okay, this is a function to just double two numbers, right? So this is an inline function. You could just write the inline function to just say whatever the number that the person gave. It's only as simple as this line. It says the name of the function is double. It echoes it, and then whatever $1 is passed, I'm multiplying it by 2. So like here, when I do type double, it just says the format or the definition of that double function. Double is a function, and here is the definition of it, how I define it, exactly like here. And then sample output, if I give 5, 5 times 2 is 10, 10 times 2 is 20, 100 times 2 is 200, and 1 times 2. So you could just do that one. A similar power function. Like here, I just do the power function. I just started here. Notice that here there's a different syntax. 2 to the power of anything, I want to do it is just 2 to the power of the $1. If $1 is 2, that would return a 4. But I'm just piping it to a basic calculator. Basic calculator says whatever the argument is there, 2 to the power of 2, this is exponential in Bash. In Perl, you might start the double asterisk meaning exponential, or the power function inside math library. You have to import math modules and then you do that one. But in Bash, whenever you use the encore, that means power of, 2 to the power of. So it is just doing that. And here I think I wrote a couple of small scripts. Let me exit out of this. Go back to, I'm still on Mac Darwin, yeah. So I'm gonna get out of this. Now I'm back on my Ubuntu. Okay, so inside here, remember I was inside the function, I told you that I wrote some other function like round or function. So this round function, round.sh, I wrote this one to just say whatever the user provides, I will round it off to print out a result as a result of rounding it to the nearest number, right? So if the person says round.sh by itself, it says I need an argument. But if I say 5.3, that should be rounded back to 5, because any number less than 5.5, like 5.4, 5.3, anything, is going to just do the same thing. See, 5.1, 5.4, and so on. But as soon as I give it 5.5, it will round it to the 6. 5.6 is rounded 6. 7, 8, 9, and then you get the idea. So now if I just say, what if I just say 0, 1? It's still going to be due. So 0, 2 and 0, 9 is still going to just say 5. Because I'm only, in this function, I'm only worried about one argument. Let me show you, round.sh. Right here, I'm saying that whatever the float point that it's giving me, I get it from $1, then now I'm going to parse it, and from the dot, the first field, I'm going to put it into number. The second field, I'm going to put it into a floating point. But if I just worry about only the first column of it, then I don't care. The rest of the column could be anything. This cat minus C character 1 is going to just take the first argument after the dot, and then that's going to find it. If I change that one, let's say I change that one to say this, and then I take this cut command out, now my script is working differently depending on how many arguments I passed. Right here, if I pass this, it doesn't, it says, okay, let me just correct something. Line 24, it failed. So let me see why it failed on line 24. Yeah, the 0 is not understood somehow. Value 2 greater for base error, this one, that's 0, 9. So if I just do any digit after this, it doesn't matter. It's going to round it off to a 6. That's not right. If I do 9, that makes sense. If I do 9, 1, it makes sense, the 6. But what is anything below 5? doesn't matter. It's going to still go to 6. So in this case, I want to just that error that was saying value too great for base error token 09, because when it is looking at the floating point numbers, the 09 at this time is not understood by the system to do it, because I didn't do any validation on that one. So let me just take that line back and put this one out. And this time I'm just only concerned with the first digit. So if I just say 09 here, it will work, because all it is I'm just saying whatever the first digit, only worry about that one. Zero some large number to the system, it doesn't know what is that number. 0, 1, 0 to the left doesn't mean anything. That's why it was giving that error. Okay, so it's 8:12, and we haven't taken any break, and then I've been talking continuously. Let me stop at this time the screen sharing and see if you guys have any question for those of you that are still here. And so I'm gonna just stop recording so we can save this one. Sometimes if it's too long, some of the screen sharing and other ones are being lost. Last time I had a long of things, and somehow the screen sharing only had the audio at the end. So let me just stop this.